Hey everybody, welcome back to the Control Academy. I'm your host Marshall, and today we're playing Esper Kaito Control. This deck is a lot of fun because it takes a lot of the power that we see in the black-white decks and takes it up a notch by adding everybody's favorite color, blue. Before we get started, I want to thank everybody who's subscribed up to this point. It's been really great seeing everybody get involved, especially reacting to the increased number of videos. I do want to say that my day job is just starting back up. I'm coming off of parental leave, and so I know it's going to be a little crazy as I get back into the swing of things with that. So if my video upload schedule is a little bit off, please bear with me. I'm not giving up the YouTube channel. I still love making content for everyone here, but I just want to be just straightforward that the routine of pumping these out every Tuesday and Thursday might take a little bit of a snag as I kind of get used back to the new flow of things. Anyway, that notwithstanding, today we're looking at a deck that uses Kaito Shizuki as a draw engine for a mid-rangey control deck. And Kaito is one of my favorite cards in the set. It's in my Yuriko EDH deck. I really want ninjas to be a viable constructed archetype, but I haven't really found one that I desperately like yet. But this is probably the best place for Kaito so far. So if we read Kaito, he's a 3-mana planeswalker, 1 a blue and a black, which is always a really great place for a planeswalker to start. There aren't a lot of 3-mana planeswalkers that haven't seen play in constructed, and so it's just a really good place on the curve to have some strong effects, and Kaito has some strong effects. So first off, his static ability is that at the beginning of your end step, if Kaito Shizuki enter the battlefield this turn, he phases out. What this means is that unlike some planeswalkers where playing them and using especially their minus abilities in the face of opposing creatures can be a pretty big liability, Kaito basically says, look, the first time you activate me, I am safe from creatures. So you can create that ninja and not really have to worry about it. You can go ahead and plus into some other things without having to worry about it being set back on loyalty for not having a creature out. It's a pretty solid first turn advantage, but importantly, because the way phasing out works, it only works one time, at least per time you put Kaito out. His plus ability is draw a card, then discard a card unless you attack this turn, so it's very similar to strategic planning in that way. In this deck, the number of times that you can attack to trigger this and just have it be +1 draw card is pretty high. And his minus ability, -2, is create a 1/1 blue ninja creature token with this creature can't be blocked. That creature token is pretty powerful when it comes to making sure the +1 ability is usually a draw card effect. And also, there's just a lot of cards in this deck that care about getting some damage through, even if it's in small chunks. So that is a pretty decent ability because it's both offensive and can be defensive, because 1/1s are still pretty good, especially with Meathook Massacre in the format. So that's Kaito. We're using this as a way to generate some card advantage, create some creatures, and do so at a point on the curve where you're otherwise just trying to get that engine going. Otherwise, this takes a lot of hints from the sort of black-white control decks that have been really popular. We've got Shambling Ghast and Eyetwitch as our low parts on the curve. We've got Meathook Massacre, which is getting more and more important as we see more and more of these Orzhov type decks coming out, because they both work really good to cancel out opposing Meathook Massacres, and they can be a way to close out the game all on their own. Vanishing Verse and Rite of Oblivion continue to be some premier removal, and then we have Deadly Dispute to help keep cards flowing. Where we have some deviation from other decks are in the presence of Malevolent Hermit. We've played this in a couple decks on the channel so far, and being a 2/1 body that is a functional force spike on the front side is already pretty good. And then if it ends up in the graveyard for whatever reason, its backside is a flying 2/2, already good, and it makes it so that your non-creature spells can't be countered. That ability isn't immediately relevant, but there are some counterspell control decks in the format that are catching speed, and so sometimes it ends up being worthwhile. And then Spirited Companion, the Drago, is just a 1/1 for 2 that draws a card when it enters the battlefield. This kind of replaces the place of the Professor of Symbology in the deck. And so, you miss out on getting into the sideboard quite so much, but this actually ends up working better. And part of the reason it works better is that if we skip up the curve, we are using Legion Angel as one of the sort of top-end threats in the deck. And so since 3 spots in the sideboard are dedicated to Legion Angel, we aren't leaning on the learn mechanic so much, and so instead being able to draw cards from the main deck is much more relevant. So the Spirited Companion ends up being pretty good for that, and so happy to see it in this deck. We've got Wedding Announcement. It's super strong. It's super strong pretty much every deck it shows up in. We played it last week. And so, making creatures, drawing cards, getting +1/+1. That's all in alignment with everything we want to do, especially when some of those 1/1s that we generate from Kaito can be buffed by this as well. I mentioned Legion Angel. We've got the Wandering Emperor, which is starting to become more and more one of my favorite cards from the set. Being a flash removal spell is really great, and then also being able to generate a Samurai at instant speed is just awesome. And again, all of these tokens just get better and better in multiples. And then lastly, this is a deviation from what you might see in similar decks. Because it's a best of one, I wanted to have one catch-all Wrath in the deck, so I've put in a copy of Farewell. I think this could easily be a third Meathook Massacre. There could be a Doomscar if you want it to be, but there are enough decks that snowball into either enchantments or artifacts that having some way to wipe all those out, just as a one-of in the deck, ends up being useful, and we have enough draw effects that we see it reasonably often. So I don't think you're wrong if you skip this card, especially in best of 3 where you can lean on your sideboard for more Wrath effects. But in best of 1, I feel more comfortable having this in as just the one catch-all that you can hope to draw into in the worst case scenario. Otherwise, we've got basic lands, we've got channel lands, we've got creature lands. Otherwise, in the sideboard, Environmental Sciences, Teaching the Archaics, Necrotic Fumes, Mascot Exhibition, and 3 Legion Angels round out the deck, and that's Esper Kaito Control. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like what we're doing here on the channel, consider subscribing. It means a lot to me as we're growing the fan base here, and it means that I get even more justification for creating another cool deck every week just for you guys. I'll see you in the games. I hope you enjoy. Alright, first up in the arena, Zorn. Good luck, Zorn. Alright, we got 3 lands and plenty to do with them. I like this a lot, actually. Yeah. I suppose my only complaint is we don't have turn 2 blue mana, but so unless we draw untap blue mana, we're going to have to play either Hermit or Eyetwitch off curve. Given that we're on the play, which is awesome, I think we go with Eyetwitch. Probably should have played the Hive first, actually. Yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah, well, we only get double Hive, so I don't have to feel quite so bad about it. Let's go ahead and play the Hive. Don't have to, like, this is going to come in tapped this turn either way, so we get to hide the blue mana a little bit. Now they have 2 mana up, and so let's go ahead and attack. And I don't really like the idea of casting a 3-drop into this too much. guess the biggest risk is Jwari Disruption. Ah, the heck with it. Let's give Kaito a try. It's gonna get countered, but the upside, if they don't, yeah, there's Jwari. Okay. We still got wedding announcement, so. Oh well. Blue-white control. Okay, well, we're free to announce our wedding anyway. So let's do it. Wandering Emperor would be great if we had double white. So here, why don't we play the Drawing Doggo? Let's see what we draw. Blue mana. Not so bad, not so bad. Alright, so we'll do this. Hey, Hermie the Frog here. Okay, Memory Deluge. So far this is looking pretty close to some of the blue-white decks that I've played, but it's not totally clear what their win con is. Happy to trade a token for a card here, especially if it gets a land out of the way from the top. Yikes. Maybe next turn prioritize snagging that Memory Deluge from the graveyard. Don't know. Kind of depends on what they get going here. This is a card I never really got behind in blue-white control. Like, it's not bad, but I suppose of all of the enters a battlefield tap lands, it's not awful. Oh, why'd you have to bounce my Hermit? Alright, so here, I think I'd like a double white. That gives me access to the Emperor. And then let's go ahead and double attack to draw cards. Alright, and then let's see. I have 6 mana up, so I can leave up the Emperor and a counter spell with the Hermits. Ooh, we ripped a Kaito off the top. Feeling good, feeling good. Sunset Revelry, fine. Didn't get to draw a card, so that's alright. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop the Emperor, especially since they have chosen not to leave up blue mana. Let's go ahead and play black. Crud, I probably should have activated her first. Oh well. I could have made the Hermit safe to attack with. That was a misplay, like just legitimately a misplay. Let's see.
No secret is safe from me.
Draw a card. Not bad. Then put a +1/+1 counter on this guy. I mean, it's only 1 damage. Well, like, sorry, it's actually a lot of damage on the table because that would have been the thing to attack with. I've got 7 mana. Do I want to leave up Otawara? I think I do. Having some instant speed interaction is probably better. Goodbye, Kaito. And our opponent scoops it up. That was a pretty good board position. I like that. Good game. Alright, next up, we got Momau. Good luck, Momau. This isn't bad. Having slow white mana is not ideal for these two cards, but we can cast a Shambling Ghast and have a pretty decent turn 3 play, so it's about all I can ask for from the average hand. Alright, having that is fine. Maybe get lucky and they kill the Shambling Ghast. I doubt it, but a guy can dream. Blue-black. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and hide the blue for now. Play the Shattered Sanctum. Attack. Oh, Siphon Insight. It's been a while since I've seen that card. I used to put that on a bunch of blue-black decks. It's pretty decent. Ooh, they're Esper too. They seem to be a bit more controlling though. The real question is, do I have the guts to Wedding Announcement into 3 open mana? And especially with a... well, the card they stole from me probably isn't particularly relevant. Let's start with attack and see what they do. I don't expect them to kill this in response, but we'll see. Play an Eyetwitch. I just really don't feel like having the Wedding Announcement, which is currently our only real threat. I don't really feel like having that countered unnecessarily. Like, realistically... oh, that flashback is rough. Realistically, they probably have Jawari Disruption, and I can deal with that next turn, so just being patient is worthwhile. I am curious what cards they've stolen from me, though. Vanishing Verse on the Eyetwitch. Yeah, fine. Go for it. That seemed maybe a little bit unnecessary. But I'll play Takenuma because now I can more safely Wedding Announcement. I guess Spell Pierce is a risk here, but there we go. They might have another way to remove it. If they've got one of... well, that was one of my Vanishing Verses. I've got 2. It's possible... it's possible that they've... no, they can't have... they can't have all of my Vanishing Verses. Okay. I just talked myself out. I don't think they have another one of my Vanishing Verses, because they've cast 1. Here's 2, 3. I think that's all of them. Could be Rite of Oblivion, but I don't have anything to sacrifice for that, so I'll drop this Otawara. Let's go ahead and get an attack, see if we can bait them into doing something. They might cast a big removal spell just to keep me from drawing a card with Wedding Announcement, which should be fine. And then I can also Legion Angel with 1 mana up in case that it was Jawari Disruption that they were contemplating. Well, we will get to draw a card. That's cool. Wandering Emperor.
I hope you're ready to lose.
They're going to create a Samurai. I'm not actually all that worried about this, if I'm being honest. So now they're tapped pretty low. And I can do this with no worries. Start the chain. And then next turn, I can both Legion Angel and Vanishing Verse or Rite of Oblivion their Wandering Emperor. So they'll get a little more value. That I can't argue too much. But Legion Angel it's an annoying threat to face in a control deck because by definition they keep just getting more and more and more of them. So if you don't have a counter spell to deal with it, then you're gonna have to deal with 4 of them back to back to back to back to back. So they get out of control pretty quick. Get a plus. Yeah.
We've got the edge in this fight.
That was a very slow rolled Infernal Grasp. So far I'm not particularly worried. That might change soon, but we'll see. Our opponent is definitely playing a much more controlling version of our deck, which is probably the version of the deck that I would rather be playing on average, but I do think that the version with Wedding Announcement is stronger overall, just because Wedding Announcement and the various creatures that go along with it are very, very strong, especially in this format. So it's going to take a lot to dethrone that particular Orzhov engine in general, but it's not impossible. Our own Wandering Emperor, very nice. Let's go ahead and play Brightclimb Pathway. We'll put it on. Let's go ahead and put it on white. Just have some extra. Then let's go ahead and let's cancel this. How do we want to do this? So we can Rite of Oblivion. That's going to require us to sacrifice the Shambling Ghast. That opens us up to an attack from the Samurai. If we Vanishing Verse, then that's less of an issue. So I guess that's the way we go. I'd rather chump the Samurai with a Shambling Ghast, I suppose.
Try not to miss me.
Then here, tempted to play the Legion Angel. I'm going to leave it in hand and then let the Wandering Emperor be our potential play for their turn. I'm curious what this card is. Come on, buddy. What you doing? No attacks. Enter. There we go. I definitely underestimated this card when it was first spoiled. Especially in the context of a format with Alrund's Epiphany, it just didn't seem all that great. But now that the format is not dictated by ravens, it is a considerably more exciting card. What you thinking about, Momao? You can just feel free to, pass to your turn. I don't think every phase change needs to be this amount of deliberation. There we go. Come on, Momao. they're in a strong enough position that I don't think that this is them roping. Can't imagine being salty over their current position unless their hand is just all lands, but they clearly have something because it keeps stopping on every phase. So I'm assuming that something has come up IRL, and that is preventing Momau from participating, because they're going to end up passing their turn, whether they like it or not. So let's Wandering Emperor and create a Samurai. It's pretty good. +1 on this. I think I just saw Momau make a gesture. Were they playing the long game, or are they actually not there? This would lead me to believe that they're still not there. I really don't want the game to end from them timing themselves out, but, I mean, we do have a pretty good board state, all things considered. Can't complain about that too much. And the Wandering Emperor is pretty punishing if you're not paying attention to your face changes. Okay, well, that's not how you like to win them, but we were in a pretty good state there, you know, especially with the Kaito in hand. Like, I think that one was going our way regardless, but oh well, our opponent had something come up, I'm sure. Alright, next up is the Shibanator. Good luck, Shibanator. Alright, gonna get off to a slow start because of the black mana. We are on the play though, so that takes the edge off that. But we've got a pretty decent ramp into turn 3. So, I mean, either way, it's not perfect, but this is good enough to keep, I think. If we can rip an untapped black source off the top, then we can double Eyetwitch on turn 2, and that'd be pretty cool. Commune with the Spirits. I have not seen that hit play. That's pretty cool. It's like Rite of Pathway. It's like the Nissa's Revelation from way back when. And here's my untapped black source. So we go bam and wabam. Not Nissa's Revelation, the Oath of Nissa. That's what I'm thinking of, where it gets a land, but this can also get an enchantment. That's pretty cool. This Kami's going to be a bit of an issue, but leave. I want to draw a card. There's always a chance that they're going to get a big attack, but I need to race them a little bit, especially considering I need to draw removal now that I know that they're enchantment aggro. Oh, it's the Rune deck. Interesting. I haven't actually played against this yet, but I've heard about it. That's pretty decent. Okay, you may pay 1 rather than pay the mana cost for rune spells you cast. Okay, well that's a lot. That's a lot to take in. So I've got 2 options here. I can double Wedding Announcement, or I can Kaito. Given where we're at, I need to draw removal probably pretty quick. So I think the answer is Kaito. Although, actually, I get to draw 2 if I double Wedding Announcement. That'll take a big hit. Oh, this is tough. Alright. Going to... Nope, that's not what I was going to do. Going to Wedding Announcement, double attack. I'm going to end up taking some damage, but I'll draw 2. What I'm really looking for is like a Meathook Massacre. Vanishing Verse will do. These runes do still need to enchant a creature, and so if we're lucky, they'll put them on the Kamiya Transient. I'll take a big hit. Get through it. Oh, that's clever. Yeah, because it's Jukai Naturalist. Now all the runes are free. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, that's nasty. Yeah, so they can just dump their hand onto this Jukai Naturalist, and the Jukai Naturalist is multicolor, so I can't Vanishing Verse it next turn. Yikes, with a side of yikes. Need a lot of things, and that was not one of them. Takenuma. So, my assumption is they probably have already unloaded themselves. What is the right call here? I think I just need to get... One of these is going to flip, so I'm going to have a bunch of 2/2s. I think I can play 1, 2, play 2 Shambling Ghast, and then Vanishing Verse this Kami of Transience. That's one of the things that gets the nuttiest. And then leave these back on defense. I'll get 2 more dudes, and then everything gets big. So it's not a perfect defense, but hopefully this wall of meat will keep things from getting too bad. Well, they got another rune. Yikes. Alright. Never would have thought of this as a card that would see play, but there we go. I guess I should probably read some of these, right? It has lifelink. Okay. Game with spirits is legit. Trample. Haste. Okay. So at least these runes aren't totally busted, but they look pretty darn scary on these guys. I have to imagine that their deck is not easy to play, but okay, they got there. Alright, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 here. 1 here. And then we'll use a Shambling Ghast trigger to kill the 2 Shambling Ghast triggers to kill these guys. And then we'll get some cards with a Eyetwitch that they kill. Alright. That went about as well as I could hope. They've got a bunch of cards in hand, so I'm going to get a Teachings. Let's Clearwater Pathway on blue. Teachings of the Archaic. Wandering Emperor is nice. You don't have enough mana for it at this point. So let's Kaito. Jeez, they have so much life.
The system can't fix everything, but we can.
And then I'll make a ninja.
It's like
And
the defenses aren't even
they've got
there.
those haste runes. They've got 1, 2, play there, probably 2 more in the deck. Just be on the safe side. I'm not going to attack in. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Especially since they've got this layer of the Hydra, actually, now that I look at it. They've got more than enough ways to punish me for being too aggressive. Next turn, I can leave up the Wandering Emperor, and that'll make a lot of these things much less scary. Okay, the Seiju on one of those is a bit rough, but it's fine. We'll survive. Okay. Alright, if that's all I got, then I'm not ridiculously worried. So let's go ahead and attack with this ninja, primarily just to proc Kaito here. 2 damage probably just seems really cute against somebody who has 30 life. Hermit is not bad. Alright, I've got enough mana that I can leave up basically everything here, actually, yeah, basically. So, Malevolent Hermit, and then if they don't give me anything to counter, I can Deadly Dispute and Wandering Emperor. The Wandering Emperor is a really nice safety valve here, because, like, just being able to exile anything to attack with, I assume, sorry, so the white rune gives lifelink, not vigilance, so probably okay. Okay, well, whoops. They do have exactly 3 mana, so the question is, do I make them spend it? I think the answer is no. We've got Hallowed Hauntings in the deck, so... Come on. Show me your moves. Alright. So, interesting. So the question is, do I make a samurai? That's probably the right call. I can do both. I'm going to Deadly Dispute first in case I come up with a better idea. So, sacrifice the Eyetwitch. And then I'll get a Mascot Exhibition. Backup Kaito is not something I'll be sad about. Opponent is thinking. Their deck is so cool. Come on. Alright. Then we'll Wandering Emperor. Make a samurai.
You're just entertaining. Let your blade do the talking.
Alright. That. +1 on the ninja.
Show them how we
Combat.
treat our enemies.
Attack like so. Probably could afford to get more aggressive, but we're low on life, so I'm not going to tempt fate if I don't have to. Spirit Companion's not bad. We've got 9 mana, so I can... plus a treasure, so I can put out the doggo. I guess I do have to be somewhat cautious of a Wrath. Yeah, that's actually a good point. With that in mind, I think... So the thing is, I can't really leave anything up. If they go to Wrath, Malevolent Hermit's probably got me covered. Yeah, let's go ahead and just do this. And I do have the treasure for the Malevolent Hermit, so hope this is good enough. At some point, sorry if I hit the microphone there. At some point we'll Meathook Massacre, and that will probably break symmetry in a pretty major way. Ooh, there's another Runeforge. Oh boy. Papa doesn't like that one. No, you don't. Oh, well, they still don't have the naturalist out, so at least they're not free. They're still pretty close to free, but they ain't free. Yeah, this has the potential to get a little nutty. The showdown I will counter if I can find it. The nice thing is that the Hermit will come back as an evasive creature. Ooh, there we go. Okay, so how do I want to do this? Black. They've got a 4/5, so killing that is going to be difficult. So, one of the things I could do, plus on a flyer, I'm going to attack, attack, attack. Like so. Let's see if they take the bait and block with the Runeforge. They do. All right. Now, I realized that my error is that I still have to Meathook and kill all my own dudes, but... Well, not all my own dudes, but most of my own dudes. But I can make it another ninja. So, do X3. Auto pay. Get a little bit of life back. I think the life gain especially is still worth... still worth the downside, and then my board is not awful here. Soakins on. Probably could have done that at instant speed. Oh no, they got haste, so maybe they're trying to be clever that way. Could really use a Vanishing Verse. A Rite of Oblivion will do it, technically, but what will I sacrifice, I wonder? Let's go ahead and plus on the Geist.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
Attack. Like so. I would love to get in with a Benevolent Geist, but I think I need the big fat blocker there. Draw a card. Eyetwitch is actually pretty decent here, because now I can sacrifice that instead. I'll take it. Rite of Oblivion. Target the Hallowed Haunting. Sacrifice Eyetwitch. Grab Necrotic Fumes. And then I can think I want to save... Well... I think actually the right play here is the second Rite of Oblivion to get rid of Michiko's Reign. Because that'll stop both it flipping and also the fact that it's going to make the Spirit Cleric go a little nutty. Alright. I do have the option of doing another Kaito and making another blocker, which might be worthwhile. If they get too many giant attackers, I don't want to be put in a rough position. Do they have a Boseiju maybe? If they have Boseiju, I imagine that they would have destroyed one of these enchantments already. Come on, Shibanator. You've got me so close. Don't give up now. Okay, keep the new one.
You'll never see me coming.
Make a ninja. There we go.
Bet you can't catch us.
Now we got a bunch of blockers. Huh. I just noticed my deck overlay added a Spirited Companion back to the list, but it's still in the graveyard. So apparently the odds there are not accurate. There's the big fat lair. Yeah. Block that. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna create a samurai.
May your
Play a land. Actually, I probably should have held off on that in case I drew a creature land. Let's fly over for 4. Got to keep the pressure going somehow. Draw a card.
Now, what do we have?
Deadly Dispute isn't quite what I wanted there, but fine enough. Pass turn. I go to chump the lair or whatever it ends up being. Ooh, Showdown. Oof. That card always makes me nervous. Okay. They got themselves another Hallowed Haunting. Fantastic. Fantastic. I assume that they play that. Yeah. Yeah, seems good. Well, we still got plenty of things to remove it with in the deck, so. Resolve. Yep. Has 2 attackers. Show me a moves. That's interesting. That particular rune does not grant lifelink. Okay, so the question is here. I think given their board, I don't want to sacrifice a creature unnecessarily. Ooh, second Meathook is nice. Very nice. Okay, so put a +1/+1 counter on this.
strike fast and strike hard.
Go to combat. Attack like so. I'm going to Deadly Dispute this guy. Alright, double Hive. it's a thing, I guess. Draw a card, just in case it's relevant. That is
There's no
indeed
secret
relevant.
I can't uncover.
Alright, now, yes, and then X, 1, 2, 3, 4. Auto pay. Gain a big old pile of life, and then I'll play a Hive of the Eye Tyrant, and then Rite of Oblivion on this. Sacrifice a treasure. Submit. Alright, now I almost certainly have to just chump with my elemental from this lair, but pretty close to closing this one out. Like, it's a dicey position, and it's possible that I should have made a creature with one of those, but if we can untap. Ooh boy. I think we're close. Come on, Sheepinator. The suspense is killing me. Alright, here's the lair. Ooh boy. I don't think that's enough though. I don't think that's enough. Block. Just in case they got something I wasn't thinking of. Run to 3. I'm not going to play with my food, I'm just going to attack. And good game. Alright. That rune deck is pretty cool. I like that a lot. Alright. Well, that one was a bit grindy, but we got there. Alright guys, welcome back to the wrap-up for Esper Kaito Control. This deck is really great. I played 4 games total with this, which is fewer than I normally do for a video. Again, it's been crazy, so I'm doing what I can. The 3 wins I included on camera. There was one that was just only got 2 lands, and then the mono white player got themselves Thalia into Elite Spellbinder, and so it never really got off the ground, and so it was not an interesting enough loss to justify including, so I did not. I think the 3 games that we did play were against sufficiently diverse decks that I am pretty happy with the win rate of this particular version of the deck. I think the general engine of the deck is something that we've talked about on this channel before. It's still really great. These are still some of the best removal spells in the format. Meathook Massacre continues to be great. The Wedding Announcement is still a very powerful threat. There's no argument there. The cards that were new in this version compared to other decks we play on the channel, Spirited Companion. I already talked about the reasons why we're playing it over Professor of Symbology. That is that we have those angels cluttering up the sideboard, and honestly, drawing more from the main deck is actually pretty great here because we have such good card quality main deck. I actually don't miss the Professor pretty much at all. The extra power is almost never relevant, and the creature type, I mean, here it's just strictly better. Look at this beautiful boy. The next card with Malevolent Hermit, especially facing down blue decks, this card is really great. It's recursive. It gives us a little bit of a different axis to play on. It's really, really worth the blue splash, especially considering that the next new card with Kaito, he is just so good. He's like a perfectly costed 3-mana planeswalker. He's not like the crushing feel bad of Liliana the Veil, but at 3 mana, he comes in, he either draws a card or makes a creature, and he inherently defends himself just for the first turn. And so you can, play some shenanigans and not have to worry about just losing him outright. The more I play with him in Standard, the more I play with him in EDH, the more I test him in Modern. Fingers crossed that I'll be able to record a video on that soon. the happier I am with him, and he doesn't really even need ninja synergy. That's kind of where I started thinking about him when I first started building him in Standard, and what I found is that the ninja typing on the -2's creature token is kind of just incidental and not really necessary outside of, you know, my Yuriko EDH deck, I suppose. But I think that, you know, pretty much every card in this deck, the rares and mythics are pretty much safe crafts, in the sense that, like, you know, everything here and the Wandering Emperor and whatnot, they're all like staples. And so Kaito's the real question mark of, you know, do I craft Kaito? And I think that especially as a sort of mid-rangey control engine, he's going to show up in a lot of decks. And so I think that crafting Kaito is a lot safer than I would have thought at the beginning of the format, because he's not just the ninja-themed planeswalker. He's a value planeswalker that happens to make ninjas. So I'd recommend, if you're interested in this planeswalker, just go ahead and craft him. It's going to be worth it. The Legion Angel is always great in the sense that it doesn't take up a lot of slots in the deck, but does provide a lot of bodies to follow up over and over and over with. But that being said, it always kind of felt like I was waiting for a bigger bomb. And so I don't necessarily know that it's worth going up to like Toxrill or some of these other things. But I do wonder if there is a better late game threat than Legion Angel. Probably not, in the sense that this works really well with the buffs we get from Wedding Announcement. Being able to chain one into another is really useful when we are thinking about potentially protecting ourselves against wraths. So it is very good. It just sometimes felt a little underwhelming as the sort of big bomb we were building toward. But yeah, otherwise, I think the blue splash in Orzhov to make it Esper is absolutely worth it. This deck is really strong. I think if I played more games, I would continue with a pretty good winning average. I feel confident about it. So go ahead and give it a try if you're interested. Again, really, there's only 2 cards here that don't fit into any other, you know, white-black shell that you're going to play. So it's a reasonably safe craft. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you really like what we're doing here and you want to learn more control strategies in Magic the Gathering, please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me and helps me keep myself going as we make more and more videos here on the channel. In any case, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time here on the Control Academy.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shame.